Hello and welcome back to another episode of You Underestimate My Podcast. Today we are talking about Acolyte episodes 4, 5, 6, and we are also talking about Shōgun, which is a show that came out in February, ended in May, and we're finally getting around to talk about it today. First of all, how are you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I've been doing good. Just one major issue. Can't find a game to play. I started Red Dead, realizing I just don't like longer games and that they lose my attention. And I tried Borderlands. Borderlands is super weird and not my style. And so I'm playing Resident Evil 2, which is my style because I love The Last of Us and that style of game. So that's just been up with me.
Cool.
So starting off with Acolyte episodes 4, 5, and 6. What are your thoughts on them?
I thought they were better than the first 3 episodes. I still didn't think they were great, but definitely an improvement. I think 5 was the best of them. So episode 4, I watched them kind of around the same time, so I think they all kind of melted together for me. But episode 4 was fine. Like nothing too crazy happened in it, and I wouldn't say like I enjoyed watching it, but I wasn't like I wasn't just wanting to turn it off. What do you think of it?
I totally agree on everything you said. I don't think you could have said it more perfectly. These 3 episodes were better than the last 3, which I really appreciate. And definitely, 4 and 5 more like I didn't want to turn it off straight away, and I wasn't hoping it to be over and watching a time. 6 is definitely my least favorite out of the 3 episodes we are reviewing today. But I just want to talk about episode 5. Just wow. That's all I want. Well, spoiler warning for the Acolyte and Shōgun. If you've not seen any of those shows, you should watch Acolyte. Come back here and listen to our other episode on the Acolyte. And maybe if you want, go watch Shōgun. Episode 5 really felt like a Star Wars episode. I know that's weird to say, but like, this is what I want from a Star Wars show and movie. A little bit of like world building, adding a few more pieces of lore, just because, just like character development is all right. I kind of don't like any of these characters except for the Sith. He's the coolest out of them all. But like the action in this was just crazy. I've never seen, well, maybe not ever, but like that, I haven't seen that in a while out of a Star Wars show, because we got the Bad Batch, which is PG-13 or maybe even as PG. The action wasn't great. I didn't like that action. And Star Wars is overall an action series. It's all about action, maybe a little bit of world building. Not too much. Obviously, not anymore. There's so much world building. But the action is what made the original trilogy so good, and the characters. This one has half of that. The characters, in my opinion, are the least interesting characters there can be. I find them super boring, and I don't want to watch any more, except the Sith dude is the coolest in the show. But like, the action was brutal enough that it didn't have to be rated mature or TVMA or anything above what it is now. And just, I was like scared and nervous, and I don't do that and get nervous and scared for the movies, or like I don't say, "Ooh, that was tough." I'm like, "Ooh, that was rough," and I was like, "Hard punch." I don't do that in a lot of movies and shows, especially Star Wars. But this one, I was like, "Oh, wow, she just like got stabbed 3 times. We've never seen that before."
And it actually killed her.
And yeah, it actually killed her for once. Let's not hope we jinxed it. I have not seen episode 7 yet, or 8. Let's hope that she stays dead. I'm pretty sure she's dead. But like in Ahsoka, I'm not gonna spoil Ahsoka. In Ahsoka, the action was alright, It was alright. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's just alright. This one is absolutely crazy so far. The 5th episode is definitely my favorite out of every single episode, and might be my favorite Star Wars project this year. It's just the 5th episode. I liked it a lot. But the other episodes lower it down just so much. This is really a pain to get through, unless we had episodes more like the 5th one. It was just crazy, and to see the Sith and to see him just like fight,
Yeah.
and deal
And
with
what did you think?
everyone.
What do you think of the reveal of who he was? Spoilers, by the way.
I mean, I think all of us wanted it to be Bane or Plagueis, or most people who read those books, or at least know who they are. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I'm glad they did it like that.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got a new Sith, and one that he doesn't seem like a classic antagonist where he's just like a really serious, like he doesn't seem like Darth Vader where he's just always serious, like frowning, just going around killing people. Like he seems more three-dimensional, and he seems like he at times can be like it isn't as serious. And I thought that's pretty interesting because we haven't really seen that for villains in Star Wars, especially Sith. And
he definitely felt like an actual human in this instead of most other Sith, which just feel like a ruthless, evil dude.
yeah. And then, of course, I was looking forward to the Wookiee Jedi, but then, of course, it turns out that he does actually get killed at the end of episode 4, which was disappointing because I feel like, well, I was really looking forward to having a Wookiee Jedi be like a bigger part, especially in live action. The only other time we've seen a Wookiee Jedi is in Bad Batch, and that's like, nah. So
in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so I was looking forward to this, but I was a little disappointed about that.
I forgot that we got a Wookiee Jedi in the trailer, so I wasn't expecting much. But they should do it again, at least one more time. But there's one plus side to Wookiee being dead. He actually stayed dead.
Yeah. Also, did you notice um the does the Sith have a name yet?
I don't think so. I think he's just like, I think he's an unknown, mysterious one.
Yeah,
this random Sith dude.
On IMDb, he's credited as the Stranger / Kemir, and Kemir was his name when he was like that's what they called him when they didn't know he was the Sith. So I guess his Sith name, or what he's known as right now, is just the Stranger. So maybe we don't get an actual name for him, like Darth Stranger, Darth Kemir. I don't know, but
Darth Stranger would be awesome.
Yeah.
Darth Stranger, the evilest Sith.
So, I thought that it was I mean, one of the oh, I forgot what I was trying to say, but yeah, his his helmet is it reminded me kind of Magneto's helmet.
Oh,
Just
I was
not
thinking more like
visually,
Kylo Ren.
not visually, but like the idea that it sort of blocks uh the the Jedi force like stuff.
That does make more sense. I didn't catch that. I just thought it looked like Kylo Ren,
But
like when he's putting it back together.
yeah, visually it reminds me of a Knights of Ren helmet.
That's it. Knights of Ren mixed with Magneto. That's what it's supposed to be. So I did not catch that.
Um and then there was another strange part to me where you've like we've seen in older Star Wars stuff that Jedi can sort of sense things, like sense what not exactly like read people's thoughts, but just sense what they're feeling kind of. And right, that was a thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I well, first of all, I've noticed that that doesn't really happen anymore. Like in Star Wars stuff, Jedi don't really do that anymore. Oh yeah, I've noticed that that doesn't really happen with Jedi anymore. And then in this, I if Master Soul could use that, then he would have like he would have been able to tell that that was not Osha, that the one there was May. So I thought that he would have been able to like uh sense that using the Force, but I guess that's not how the Force is used, or at least not how it is anymore.
Yeah, that is definitely weird. But I mean, he could have maybe sensed that that one dude was the Sith. He could have known that. So it's kind of the same as that, as like sensing Osha, that Osha there is May instead, which eventually he does catch May, but he could have done the same thing. This could have been very short show if it was. So it's kind of like that, I'd say.
Yeah. Um I think that well, I'm actually kind of looking forward to watching episode 7. Uh so yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what happens. Episode 4, I would give I would give a 5, or yeah, I'll give it a 5. Episode 5, I would give a 7, and episode 6, I would give a 6.
I would episode 4, I would give it a 4. Episode 7, not 7. Episode 5, give it a 7.5. I think it really tried and is what I want to see in every Star Wars show. It's just a brutal show. Not maybe like Shōgun brutal, not Bad Batch brutal. Right here is like perfect. This is like what I would want to see from a Star Wars show. Not all happy faces, not all politics. It kind of feels like real life. Like a big example for that is Andor. It's just politics and politics and more politics. So this one, not as much the same. So I'm enjoying this one more than definitely Andor. So episode 6, I would probably give like a 6. And I mean, I enjoyed it a little bit, but
Yeah.
the show's all right. I think it's going to end well. I don't know how they're going to end it, obviously, but I think it's going to end interesting. Maybe not the best Star Wars show. I think it's going to be better than Book of Boba Fett and The Bad Batch, and that's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah. So, moving on to Shogun. So, some of you may know my thoughts on this already because I was watching it weekly as it came out, and I might have said a few things already, but I want to know what you thought of this.
Oh, well, I didn't want to watch the show. I mean, I did want to watch it originally. I watched 20 minutes of the first episode, got to an ad, gave up. I know. I quit watching the show, but then we decided to watch it. Well, I was good. You watched it already, but before that, we agreed to do it on the podcast. So we did. We are doing it now, obviously. It was a big pain actually to sit down and watch it because this felt like just talking to me. I know all my friends say this too. Not all of them, but some of them say like, maybe you don't want to. Maybe you won't like this because it's action. Maybe you should not hate on it because it's not action, which hurts a little bit because I've seen the Barbie movie, The Social Network, Whiplash, all phenomenal movies without really some action, but not too much. So this one has action. It's not there a lot. It is very slow. I droned out a little bit while watching it. I do think it's interesting. It sucks a little bit because I droned out. I was on my phone. I was doing just other stuff while watching it. The worst thing is I had to watch it in English because I just couldn't watch it in Japanese and just how it was originally made. I might watch this again originally how it was intended. That's like my long, quick thoughts ish.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. Uh, I well, for me, I love this. It's one of the best shows that I've seen, in my opinion. Something about it just really grabbed me, and it felt, I don't know, everything, like, even just whenever they were just talking, something about it still just kept my attention, and it was just, the show was so tense, and there's so many, like, subtleties, and the acting. Okay, did you at least think the acting was good?
Well, I would say yes for just like English speakers at least because they weren't dubbed, but I do think the acting was incredible and it had a lot of emotion, and that was just really interesting to watch. Was just the emotions of everybody. So
And then, well, I don't know, there's a lot that I have to talk about for this. There, like, well, I wanted to, so I saw something about it a few weeks before it came out. So I read about it and I thought it looked really good. I watched the trailers, I thought it looked really good. I was really looking forward to it and I was hoping that it would be really good. And did not it did not let me down at all. And there are just so many, like, little subtleties, and even though this is a very serious, dark, tense show, there are also, like, funny parts, and uh I'm just gonna go through my notes now, but in episode 1, first of all, the episode is called Anjin, which is what they called Blackthorn throughout the show because that means pilot, and so it was called that because he's the pilot of the ship, and so the episode was called that. But then it was also the pilot episode of the show. I thought that was pretty funny. the that little wordplay. And uh, I like how on the wide shots that they do, the edges, like the corners of the screen, are sort of like rounded, like a sort of like they go into a fisheye lens, but only on the edges, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then just like the color of everything just felt like I don't know, it felt like it had kind of like a greenish, bluish tint over things most of the time. And then uh, I thought Yabashige was a great character, and it was so interesting watching his subplot with, or it wasn't really even the subplot. It was like it was all part of the like the show, and it was very important to the story, where he wants to be loyal to Toranaga, but then he wants to uh like he wants to survive, but he then wants to like he keeps going in between, and Toranaga sort of like knows he's doing this and still kind of like trusts him, but also like he thinks that uh that Yabashige is working, like pretending to work for the other guy. I forget his name. It's been a while since I've seen this. Hold on. I can't find. Oh yeah, Lord Ishido. Lord Ishido was like he thought so. Toranaga thought Yabashige was pretending to help Lord Ishido, but actually still working for him. And then uh, Ishido thought that he was pretending to help. He thought he was pretending to help Toranaga, but then working for him. And he just kept playing both sides because just what he wants to do is just survive. Although he still like feels bad and he's kind of still loyal to Toranaga, but that's just fighting with his will and desire to survive. And then that actually reminds me a bit of I won't spoil Red Dead Redemption 2, even though I don't know if you're gonna beat it, but sort of reminds me of Micah. I mean, not like his story or what happens to him, but just uh like how he is, except Micah's meaner. And then the ending, by the way, there will be spoilers for this. The ending, Yabashige's ending is just like it's sad, but then it feels right. Like he gets executed by Toranaga, but Toranaga is his friend, and Toranaga doesn't really want to do it, but uh, Yabashige betrayed him, and so he sort of accepts what's going to happen, and then Toranaga just chopped off his head, and then that was that. It wasn't. I don't know. I was really intrigued by his character, and I thought he was great. And unfortunately, they renewed this show for 2 more seasons, which, as much as I love the show, it needs to stay 1 season, and so I'm upset that it's not. But because they the first season was based on the book, but they don't have books to go off of for the other 2 seasons. So I know it's still gonna be produced by Hiroyuki Sanada, who also played Lord Toranaga, and so I know is going to try his best to keep it authentic and keep it good. And I know they like care about the story and want to make it good. So I have hope that it will still be good, but I still don't think they should have done it. But then by the end of the show, there are just so many unanswered questions. Like, we don't know what happened to this character, or what happened here, and I don't know. Like, I kind of wanted them to stay unanswered, but unfortunately, well, maybe some of them will. And I don't even know what season 2 is going to be about. Like, will it take place years after or right after? Um, there will be no Yabashige in it. Uh, Also, a little note is that a lake they filmed at, I think in the last episode when Blackthorn and Fuji are out on the lake. That was the lake. Like the lake they filmed at was the lake where the author's ashes were scattered when he died. The author of the book. I thought because I learned that from listening to the official Shōgun podcast, which was really good. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I thought just the scenery. I thought the scenery for the whole show was just amazing, and um, I'm definitely gonna read the book soon. I don't know when because I'm very busy, but I'm looking forward to that. And listening to the podcast, the official Shogun podcast, Hiroyuki Sanada, who was, like I said, he was the producer for the show, but then he also played Toranaga. He felt similar. The way he felt about being producer uh, reminded me of how Toranaga felt about being Shogun, where because he did an interview on the podcast. He was saying that he didn't want to be the producer, but then he realized that if he became the producer, he could have more control to make this as good and as accurate as possible. So he decided to do it. And that's sort of how I thought that Toranaga felt about being Shogun, where he was like, I don't want to be Shogun. I'm not after that much power. But then he realized, well, maybe I should be Shogun because like these people don't deserve to, but then also I would have more power and the ability to do all these things. So then he decides to try to become Shogun. And so there I thought that was pretty interesting. And I don't know, I loved the show. I cannot wait for season 2. And just like the little things, like the just in let's say just a scene where Blackthorn is talking to Toranaga, but like maybe the first time he meets Toranaga, it's just so tense. And then there would be like an up close shot of Toranaga's face, and he's just like looking at Blackthorn, and then I don't know, something about how this was shot and how it was written and everything just really captivated me. And they put so if like I could feel the amount of effort they put into this show to make it as good as it was, and I'm so glad that I enjoyed it. So yeah, I will give it a 10 out of 10. One of the best shows I've seen.
For me, I don't think it's fair to rate this show. I did like it. I think it's a good show, and I can see all the parts people liked, but it just wasn't for me. And I mean, I've played Ghost of Tsushima. I've played Rise of the Ronin. I want to watch some Shogun, not Shogun, the like samurai movies. Like the top rated movie on Letterbox, I'm pretty sure is like a Japanese samurai movie. Like Katana is awesome. It just reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, Am I saying that right?
Ghost of
That's what it
Tsushima.
says. Yeah, okay. I've always said it like that, and someone said I said it wrong once, and it scarred me. But I'm saying it right. That was just. It's one of my favorite games. It was just a beautiful game, just everything. And so, but Rise of Ronin was right. This one, I mean, again, I'm not gonna rate this. I'm just gonna leave it with I liked it. I would say I'm not excited for season 2, except for season 2. I'm gonna watch it weekly, so I don't have to binge it all at once because that was a big pain in the butt. I'm never doing that again for a big show like Agatha, for example.
Oh yeah,
We are not doing that one.
let's talk about that at the end.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't think it's fair for me to rate it. I'm
Okay.
just gonna leave it with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about Agatha All Along. A new trailer came out recently.
Can I watch the trailer real quick?
You didn't watch the trailer?
I know I sent it to you, but I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
I saw it. I thought you should know.
So now let's talk about the trailer. So, I don't really. There wasn't really anything that stood out to me, but what do you think?
Ooh. It was a trailer. It was weird. I do think this one is going to be scary. Not like Multiverse of Madness. That one, well, to be fair, that one had a jump scares. Got me a few times. I watched it on this huge screen with one of my friends, and it was kind of terrifying because the screen was so big. But that one didn't do the horror aspect. I don't think it's got to do as well as some of the other shows just because Marvel fatigue. I think Loki is going to be the best show. I don't think this is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be She-Hulk bad. I do think it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I do think it's coming out at the right time. I do think the name scheming was absolutely genius because they changed the title just so much, and then they revealed it. It was Agatha all along. Agatha changed the title. It was Agatha all along. It makes so much sense. But if I had to rate this trailer out of if I had to rate the trailer from 1 to 10 on how excited I am, I'll give it like a 3. I'm not excited at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't say for me. I'd probably have it like a 5. I'm not like I'll watch it probably day one when the first episode comes out. But
The first 2.
Oh yeah, but I'm not really I'm not looking forward to it. I think it's the kind of show that has that most of the episodes are fine. You're like, yeah, this is okay. But then it has 1 or 2 episodes that you're like, these are amazing. So I think it's gonna have, most of the time be fine, and then at certain times, I think it's definitely gonna have some great moments.
I do too, especially with the horror aspect of it.
Yeah.
The trailer showed a little bit of that, so I'm excited, and we get a little bit more backstory on Wanda, hopefully, and it explained a little bit in the trailer about the town that she captured. So I'm excited for it. Wait, I said I'm excited for it. I'm not excited. I don't know why I said that. It's just, it was boring, and I would rather watch anything else. I'd rather watch The Last of Us for the second time only. I'm definitely going to rewatch it eventually.
Yeah, we're gonna
talk about that.
What?
Should we talk about The Last of Us, or should we have it as a surprise?
I mentioned it in my solo episode last week.
Okay, then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm definitely going to rewatch it when we talk about it finally on the podcast.
Yeah.
You've played it. You're going to watch the show.
Yeah, I'm already.
This was just.
I've seen the
Well,
first 2 episodes. I'm probably gonna watch the third one maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night, soon. Actually, I'm not gonna give my thoughts, but
yeah, don't.
yeah, I'm excited to talk about it on the podcast, and I will be playing part 2 soon, I think.
Yeah, soon.
So,
You know how excited I am about this. Everybody listening to this probably already knows how much I love The Last of Us, how much I talk about it. It's one of my favorite games, one of my favorite shows, just probably one of my favorite characters, except
which
no, I won't say anything.
character?
Joel and Ellie and their like dynamic is just it's so fun to play and watch on the big screen and on my little screen I used to play games on. But like while you were texting me saying that you played The Last of Us, I was in Texas and I was eating Cane's chicken, which is absolutely really good chicken.
They're not sponsoring us.
Not sponsoring us. Hopefully in the future, but I couldn't finish. I finished my chicken almost when we got back to the place we're staying at. And a weird story. We came back from a water park. It was like an hour drive back, and we got Cane's. It's in our hands. It took me a while to finish the chicken because I was texting you about The Last of Us and just super excited. And the car, all my friends were there, and they're asking me, "What do you think of Cane's?" Because they live in Texas and they like Cane's. And I'm like, "Hold on, my cousin played The Last of Us. Hold on, everybody, hold on, stop it, hold on." And so I had to not eat my chicken. I had to text you about The Last of Us because it's one of my favorite games, one of my favorite shows. I love it a lot. I hope that everybody in this episode knows I love it a lot, and I really want to replay it again. Maybe on a higher difficulty because this game's hard. Short but really hard. It took me a while in some areas.
Yeah,
and
there
it
were.
was terrifying.
Yeah, I beat it in 2 days, but there were like some times that took me a while. But yeah, I think we don't really have any other news to talk about. Can you think of anything?
The Gladiator 2 trailer came out. Speaking of The Last of Us, the show, Pedro Pascal is in Gladiator 2. That's the only reason why I'm excited for it. I didn't care for the first Gladiator, mainly because it was just so bad watching it. Because me and my dad were trying to watch it, and then we had ads, which always suck. And we stopped it halfway through because I had to leave and do something. And then when we went to go continue it, we had to restart us. So we had to go from the beginning, fast forward, and it was just a horrible experience. So I'm going to rewatch it before the second one comes out. I haven't seen the trailer. I don't want to see the trailer. I don't want to get spoiled. I'm just going to go in blind, hopefully. It's like some big news.
I'm looking at some news on like stuff we could talk about.
Comic-Con?
This doesn't really have any big like effect, but the movie Horizon: An American Saga part 2 or chapter 2 was pulled from theaters because the first one did so badly. I haven't seen the first one. I don't want to because it looks bad, and they I've seen a few bad reviews on it, so I don't really care about that, but someone might. Nintendo announced a horror game, I think.
I don't think anybody
They
cares
dropped
about
a
that.
teaser for a new horror game. What? I'm gonna have to watch that. Um, yeah. Uh, I think that's kind of all. So, uh,
Well, I would just like to say this episode is going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be fully edited with cool scenes from the show, any of the shows we just talked about, or like cool little edits. That is going to take a while. I still need to learn how to edit, which might concern a few of you guys on how good the editing will be. But yeah, this hopefully next episode is going to be edited and released on YouTube. Released on YouTube 100%. Edited not so much, maybe.
all right.
I'm gonna learn.
So, thank you for listening to this episode of You
Wait,
and
hold on. I know, I'm almost done. So on the YouTube channel, really appreciate you if you go to the YouTube and subscribe. But there's a link tree which you could look at everything. Go to YouTube, straight there. I have to click like 3 buttons, maybe 4, maybe even 5. Not too hard. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. So I'm trying to release more gaming shorts to grow our audience on YouTube to hopefully come back on Spotify. And if you're on Spotify listening to this first, I really appreciate that. We both appreciate Spotify people first. If you come from YouTube, listen to Spotify. We love all of our fans, but really appreciate it if you just go check it out. We're really trying on the YouTube page. Hopefully in the future, we have fully edited gaming videos that are not shorts. Maybe we grow our audience somewhere else, try other platforms. But yeah, I'll let you do the intro. Just wanted to give that update on shorts. Expect more shorts. Expect more content on the YouTube channel. I know it's been a while, but you can find this episode not fully edited, but you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this episode of You Underestimate My Podcast. If you enjoyed it, it really helps us if you write us a review on Apple Podcasts, follow us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, tell your friends or just tell anyone who you think would like the podcast so they can check it out. And we have a YouTube channel, so you can follow that or subscribe to that, whatever. We both have Letterboxd accounts. We'll leave the link to all of our links in the episode description. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week talking about I forget. But yeah, we will be back next week. Bye.